I bought the house because it was cheap. That should have been my first warning. In this market, you don't ask questions when a 3-bedroom Victorian on the edge of town is listed for half its value. You just sign the papers. You ignore the way the realtor taps her foot nervously while you read the contract. You ignore the fact that the previous owner left in a hurry, leaving their furniture behind. I told myself I was lucky. I told myself it was a steal. The first week was quiet. Too quiet. The house sat on a dead-end street, backed up against a dense line of pines that blocked out the morning sun. Inside, the air was always stale, no matter how many windows I opened. It smelled of old paper and cobber. I spent my days unpacking, arranging my life into these new rooms. I set up my office in the spare bedroom upstairs. I put my favorite books on the shelves. I tried to make it feel like home, but the house didn't feel like mine. It felt like I was a guest who had overstayed their welcome. It started on a Tuesday. I had just come home from work. The house was dark, the only light coming from the street lamp outside filtering through the blinds. I walked into the hallway and saw it. A white envelope, sitting perfectly in the center of the hardwood floor. I froze. I live alone. I had locked the door when I left. I checked the windows, all shut. I checked the back door, deadbolted. I picked it up. No stamp, no return address, just my name handwritten in pencil. The writing was shaky, like a child's or a very old man's. I tore it open. Inside was a single Polaroid photo. My heart hammered against my ribs as I looked at it. It was a photo of me sleeping in my bed, taken from the doorway of my bedroom. I turned it over. On the back, in that same shaky pencil, were 3 words: "You sleep soundly." I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room with a baseball bat, every light in the house turned on, watching the shadows. I told myself someone had broken in, a prank, a sick joke. But deep down, I knew nobody had broken in, because the alarm never went off. 2 days passed, no more letters, but the house began to change. It started with the sounds. At first, I thought it was rats, low rhythmic scratching behind the drywall in the hallway. Scritch, scritch, scritch. I called an exterminator, a guy named Miller. He was a big man, not easily spooked. He crawled under the house, he checked the attic, he came down wiping cobwebs from his face, looking confused. He told me there were no droppings, no nests, no entry points. He said this place was sealed tight. But I told him I heard them, scratching, right behind the wall. Miller tapped the wall in the hallway. It sounded hollow. He told me old houses settle, pipes expand, wood warps. He said it was just the house breathing. He charged me $50 and left. That night, the house didn't just breathe, it spoke. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep that wouldn't come. And then I heard it. Not scratching this time. Breathing. It was soft, wet, and labored. It wasn't coming from the hallway. It was coming from the vent above my bed. I sat up, my skin crawling. I shouted, asking who was there. My voice cracked. Silence. Then a soft click, like a camera shutter. I scrambled out of bed, grabbed my phone, and shined the flashlight into the vent. Nothing but dust and darkness. The next morning, I found the second letter. It wasn't on the floor this time. It was tucked into the pocket of the jacket I had worn to work the day before. I found it when I reached for my keys. Another Polaroid. This one was closer, much closer. It was a photo of my ear, taken from inches away. I could see the individual hairs. I could see the pores of my skin. On the back, it read, "I like your exterminator. He has heavy footsteps." I dropped the photo. My hands were shaking so hard I couldn't pick it up. Whoever this was, they had been watching me while I was talking to Miller. They had been watching me while I was awake. I should have left. I know that now. I should have packed a bag, burned the place down, and never looked back. But fear is a funny thing. It doesn't always make you run. Sometimes it makes you angry. I went to the hardware store. I bought new locks. I bought cameras, expensive ones with motion sensors and night vision. I spent the entire Saturday installing them. One in the hallway, one in the kitchen, one facing the front door. I sat in my office, watching the feeds on my monitor. I was going to catch them. Sunday night, 2:13 a.m. I was dozing in my chair when the motion sensor in the hallway triggered. A red light flashed on my screen. I leaned in, my pulse racing. The camera feed was grainy, black and white. At first, I saw nothing, just the empty hallway. Then I saw the wall move. Not a door. The wall. The paneling at the far end of the corridor, beneath the staircase, was slowly sliding open. A secret door. A hand reached out. It was pale, gray almost. The fingers were impossibly long, the joints swollen. It placed something on the floor. Another white envelope. Then the hand retreated. The panel slid shut, seamlessly, as if it had never opened. I stared at the screen, unable to breathe. It wasn't an intruder coming from outside. It wasn't a stalker breaking in. They were living inside the walls. I grabbed a sledgehammer from the garage. I didn't think. I just swung. I marched to the space under the stairs and swung the hammer with everything I had. The plaster shattered. The wood splintered. I tore away the debris, panting, sweating. Behind the drywall was a hallway, a narrow, unfinished service corridor running between the rooms. It smelled of rotting food and old sweat. I shined my flashlight into the darkness. I screamed for them to come out. Silence. I stepped inside. The space behind the walls was like a parasite attached to the house. It ran the entire length of the building. I walked slowly, the boardwalks creaking under my weight. The air was thick, hot. I found their room behind the fireplace. It was a small crawl space insulated with pink fiberglass, and it was lived in. There was a sleeping bag, filthy and matted, curled in the corner. There were piles of candy wrappers, empty water bottles, and cans of food from my pantry. But the walls were the worst part. They were covered in photos. Hundreds of them, all Polaroids. There were photos of me eating dinner, photos of me watching TV, photos of me in the shower, taken through a crack in the tile. But it wasn't just me. There were photos of the previous owners, a family, a mother, a father, a little girl. They were smiling in some, sleeping in others. Then the photos changed. I saw pictures of them packing boxes, pictures of them arguing, and then pictures of them sleeping. But they weren't sleeping soundly. Their faces were pale, their eyes swollen. I found a journal on the floor, a small leather-bound book. I opened it. The handwriting was that same shaky scrawl from the notes. October 12th. The new one is loud. He walks heavy. He doesn't buy the good peanut butter. October 14th. He almost saw me today. He looked right at the vent. I held my breath. October 15th. I miss the little girl. She used to leave me cookies. I felt sick. This wasn't a monster. This was a person who had been living here, inches away from me, sharing my life without my permission. I heard a creak behind me. I spun around with the flashlight. At the far end of the tunnel, near where the attic access would be, two eyes reflected the light. They were wide, unblinking. A voice, raspy and unused, whispered from the dark, "Get out of my room." I ran. I scrambled back through the hole in the wall, tripping over debris, my flashlight wildly swinging. I heard shuffling behind me, fast, scurrying movements like a crab on a wooden floor. I burst into the hallway and shoved a heavy bookshelf in front of the hole. I heard a thud as something hit the other side. Then scratching, frantic scratching. I didn't pack. I grabbed my keys and my wallet. I ran out the front door and jumped into my car. I sped down the driveway, my tires spinning on the gravel. I didn't stop until I was 10 miles away, sitting in the bright fluorescent light of a 24-hour gas station. I called the police. They came.
They searched the house. They found the hole I had made. They found the sleeping bag. They found the photos. But they didn't find him. The crawl space connected to the storm drain system under the city. He had vanished into the tunnels. I sold the house. I took a massive loss, but I didn't care. I moved into a high-rise apartment in the city. Concrete walls, no crawl spaces, no attics. I thought I was safe. But yesterday, I came home from work. I unlocked my door, my high-tech keyless entry door on the 15th floor. I walked into the kitchen, and there on the counter was a white envelope. I didn't want to open it, but I had to. It was a Polaroid. It was a picture of me taken from inside my own closet, looking out at me sleeping in my new bed. And on the back, 3 words.
This story serves as a stark reminder of the importance of trusting your instincts. It's easy to get swept up in what seems like a good deal, but sometimes the things we ignore, like strange behaviors or unexplained occurrences, are red flags. In life, we must question the unusual and listen when something doesn't feel right. The truth, no matter how disturbing, always comes to light. Fear should never control you, and sometimes the greatest lesson is realizing that escape is not always enough. Sometimes we need to confront our fears head-on to truly be free. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more spine-tingling tales. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments below and if you've ever encountered something similar. If you loved this video, drop a comment and tell us what you would do in this situation. Stay tuned for more incredible stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.